Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Kat, and welcome to episode 13 of my Year Diaries. Now, it has been a minute since I've made a video, so I thought I would make one today. So, there are two things I want to talk about today. So, starting off with the first one, okay. So, it was kind of like an accomplishment and sort of thing. Okay, so, yesterday I attended one of my college interviews, and after the interview I was just sitting in the lobby and I realized I just had like this flash to a year ago and how much things have changed, or like what I've been able to do. So basically, a year ago, so during our 12th boards, there's this thing called a Viva, which is like a very small interview. They just ask you questions from your subjects. It's more of a namesake thing, to be honest. So I remember we were just told that that exists, and I kind of freaked out because I hated interviews back then, and I was terrified of them. I would have rather given a speech to like 500 people than attend an interview with one interviewer, right? Because I just felt like I wouldn't be able to defend my points when I cross-questioned or when I was asked questions. Rather, I just prefer talking, right? But so I was called up in front of my class of 12 members. And okay, I made like a big fuss saying, no, call someone else please, I don't want to go. But the teacher was like, no, just come and sit here, and I did. And then he asked me like a very simple question. I think it was like, what is a zero matrix or what is a null matrix? And I just couldn't. First thing, I didn't answer because my brain had just drawn a blank. I was just like, so my defense mechanism, I feel like when I'm asked a question and I don't want to answer, is I just smile or laugh or giggle, right? And I would just be smiling back at them, and they stare at me cluelessly. Of course, it is a bit of a defense mechanism for me, but basically my mind just drew a blank. I didn't even know what the question was. Like, I was just like paralyzed in a ridiculous way. Fast forward to a year now, yesterday. So basically, I traveled from my hometown, like from my house. I took a cab on my own. I got to the airport and boarded the flight on my own, and from the airport to the house, like my family friend's house that I'm staying at, I took a cab alone. So the entire journey I did alone, and I came to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, if you met me like 3 or 4 years ago, I used to say I've never been to Hyderabad, because Hyderabad is a place that everyone goes to. Everybody has been to, okay, especially in my hometown. Like, either half the people are from Hyderabad or they have relatives there or they visit. For me, I had no connection to Hyderabad, and I'd always be like, oh my god, I've never been. And this is my 4th time coming to Hyderabad. I've been with a friend, I've been with family, I've been with my parents, I've been alone as well, right? This trip I came alone. And it was so crazy. So I did that entire journey on my own and got to their house, and I even went to the interview alone. Like, I booked a cab in a city that I know nothing about, right? I am generally bad with directions and geography, so I barely know my hometown well, but Hyderabad is a completely different city. I mean, it's a huge city, and still, I booked a cab on my own. I went, I attended the interview, I aced the interview. I think I did pretty well, and I talked to a few people there, and I booked a cab back home, and I came, and after I was like, oh my god, like, this is so crazy. I was not nervous in the interview. I was so chill and just talking to the interviewers very casually, like very calm, not casual of course, but chilled and relaxed, like not nervous and tense, which is such a big improvement. First thing. Second thing, the things that I've talked about in my interview, right? My extracurriculars, like my scuba diving, surfing. I have 2 internships and building my own startup. It feels so good to have. So again, these are things that I never do. Like when I did think of them, I planned them for like, you know, after I finish my masters, I will work on these. I'll build my own business then. I'll start a YouTube channel then. These are all things that I scheduled for then. And it's so crazy to see that I took a gap after my 12 and I did these now. Like, genuinely so crazy. And I felt so proud and so unique when I was talking about myself, right? That is another thing. The third thing was I was able to talk and make conversation with like fellow people who had come for the interview, and that was crazy too. Because normally I used to have like, I think everyone has that overthinking and anxiety when it comes to making small talk with strangers, but I was actually like very confident and sure. The fourth thing, right? Everyone typically shows up for these interviews in Western formals, right? So you can wear Western formals or you can wear like a kurti set kind of thing. And I attended a similar interview last year and I showed up in a kurti. I was the only one. At first I felt like, oh my god, I'm so scared. Like, you can wear either, it's allowed, but when you're the only one and you kind of, it feels like you're violating the dress code kind of thing. I don't know if, you know, you feel like the odd one out, right? That is the thing. You feel like the odd one out, and it's so crazy. And obviously that can kind of hit on your confidence a bit, right? So and then this year I picked out a dress, like a kurti set. I bought it about 4 or 5 months ago, and I knew that this is definitely the dress that I'm going to wear for this interview, and I did. I showed up as like my most confident self, my body language, the way I was walking, the way I was talking, and the conversations I had, and genuinely I did not recognize myself. I didn't recognize that. I never thought that this is what I could do at 18, right? And I'm so proud and genuinely in awe, right? It's such a crazy feeling, and I think what this shows is if you can dream it, like dream as big as possible, and life has a way, it has the audacity to just come and meet you there, right? These are all things that I've envisioned myself doing multiple times. I've seen myself doing it. It's not necessarily consciously, I daydream of quite a bit, and I'll be like imagining that I am giving like an interview for like I'm successful and I'm like a CEO or business owner and I'm being interviewed, that kind of thing. I imagine those things. So yesterday just felt like it felt like an answer to those prayers. And this obviously isn't the first time. I have manifested things like this before, but this just felt so surreal. It did not feel real, to be honest. And even like when I was going to bed, I was thinking, oh my god, I genuinely didn't recognize myself. Like, who is this girl? And that is such a wonderful feeling to feel, right? And it's such a nice accomplishment. And when you do, you need to make sure that you acknowledge that and you feel that sense of accomplishment, right? Again, coming to the second thing that I wanted to talk about today, I've just been like a little low. Right, I have all this free time. I actually have another interview coming up, and now I'm like the satisfaction of doing the other interview well didn't even last like a day. And then you have the next thing that you have to chase, and this is always the case, right? You have like this exam, then you've got your next exam, then you've got boards, 12 boards, college entrances, and then graduating, and then masters or job, and it's just a never-ending race. I don't even know why we're running, right? And you kind of, when you're running through this, right, for me what I do is during exam time when I'm preparing, I kind of just end up isolating myself. I don't socialize, I don't meet people, I cut out all activity, and as a result, by the time the exam or the interview, whatever is done, I am like, my brain is just so quiet. I had all these things that I wanted to do and I postponed them, saying I'll do them after the exam, and now the exam is done there's nothing to do, and otherwise I feel bored, I will like binge or I'll scroll something. So I was just thinking, this is a thing, like a way of life, either I have to change, like I have to iterate upon this, because there is no point delaying your life just for exams, because there is always going to be something, right? Once this is done, there'll be the next exam, and you kind of have to stop postponing your life for these kind of things. Like so what I want is like a balance, right? So I can go out, I am studying, I am doing like working out, I'm going on walks, and I have like a balanced life even when I do have exams. And I think that is also what prevents you from burning out and sort of breaking down. And that is definitely something I want to, because like the satisfaction of doing one thing well, it didn't last 2 minutes, right? So that was the second thing I wanted to talk about. It's very important that you dream big and you chase those goals and you achieve them, and you slowly become that version of yourself that you dream of and look up to. And it's also very important to celebrate your little wins. Every single win is still a win. And even if things go wrong, I think you should celebrate, because you learn something, right? There's literally no such thing as a failure. It's like either you succeed or you learn something, right? And either way, that's a win. So that was what I wanted to talk about today. I'm going to end this here. I hope you liked this video. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. And comment down below what you're going through, or if you've been through something similar. I'd love to know. And comment down your little wins too, today's wins. I think we should even like just celebrate, okay, waking up a little earlier today, or just being better than who we were yesterday. And I think that is very important. And yeah, so that's that, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye bye. Love you so much. Thank you so much for watching.